What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be schooling you all on the monofilament sensory testing. So a monofilament, also called the Semmes-Wienstein monofilaments, are single-fiber nylon threads categorized from values that range from 1.65 to 6.65. And the bigger the value of the monofilament, the more thick and stiffer it is and harder to bend. And with each monofilament, there's a corresponding amount of force that's required to bend it. So for example, a monofilament that has a value of 4.31 requires a force of 4 grams to bend it. The Semmes-Wienstein monofilament test looks at clients' dermatome levels to test for sensory thresholds. Using the monofilaments, we can test different areas on a client's extremities to test their progression, regression, or a lack of sensory neuropathy. On the hand, we would test different fingers and areas of the dorsal and palmar side to assess sensation input from the median, ulnar, and radial nerves. And then on the foot, we test 9 different spots on the dorsal and plantar aspects to test for the nerve inputs as well. So when we perform a Semmes-Wienstein monofilament test, what exactly are we looking for? This assessment is a non-invasive sensory screening tool that is standardized and provides objective and reliable information on a client's cutaneous sensory levels of their body. The assessment can be as short or as fast as you want to make it, depending on which monofilaments you use, and there's no age limits or restrictions set for the screening tool. So the Semmes-Wienstein monofilament test has a pretty good reliability and validity. For the reliability, it produced a good to excellent inter-rater reliability when it was performed with another examiner who was blinded to the results of the first trial. In another study, it produced a strong construct validity when it was tested with the clinical neurological examination, because these results produced a strong correlation between the two exams. The monofilament test has a pretty high degree of specificity, about 92%, and it lacks a high sensitivity level, about 36%, so this wouldn't be used solely as a screening tool for sensory impairments. We would want to use another outcome measure or screening tool as well. And there are also no specified norms provided for the assessment. So how would we actually administer the monofilaments test? To begin, you would want to rest the client's extremity on a padded surface that's stable and cue the client to close their eyes, or you can blindfold them if necessary. You'll want to explain what the test is looking for and cue the client to respond with a yes or no answer when the monofilament stimulus is felt. To perform the exam, you'll want to do it distal to proximal, so if you're doing the hand, for example, you'll start at the fingertips, work your way down to the wrist. And then you'll want to use the smallest to largest monofilament when administering over areas that are innervated by a different nerve. Also note that you don't test every area of the skin, only over different innervations and dermatomes. So if we start on the hand, we're going to start on the palmar surface of the hand and use the monofilament to touch the index finger and the thumb. This is going to test the median nerve. And then we're going to move over and use the monofilament to touch the little finger and hypothenar eminence to test the ulnar nerve. And then we'll flip the hand over and we'll touch the dorsum of the lateral hand to touch the radial nerve. And then moving on to the foot, we're going to touch 2 areas on the dorsal aspect of the foot and 7 areas on the plantar aspect of the foot. And these areas are going to be seen in Figure 2 of the Touch Test Sensory Evaluator instructions. So there are 3 different kits that you can use to administer the monofilaments test. So when testing with the 5-piece hand kit, the 6-piece foot kit, or the 20-piece full kit, start always with the 2.83 monofilament. You'll press this monofilament to the skin at a 90-degree angle and hold it for 1.5 seconds and then remove it, and you'll ask your patient if they felt it or not, and they'll give you a yes or no answer. If the response to the stimulus is felt in all sites on the hand or foot, then a normal cutaneous sensation can be assumed and the exam would be complete. However, if this isn't true, then you'll choose the next largest stimulus monofilament value and you'll repeat the process. Hi guys, so we're going to be doing the Semmes-Wienstein monofilaments test. I got my friend Nick here and he's going to be my pawn client for the day. So I'm going to be doing the 5-piece hand set with him. So we would start out with the 2.83 monofilament. And as far as I know, he has no peripheral nerve damage, so we're going to test that, and this one would show if he doesn't have it or not. And then if he can't feel it, we're going to move down the monofilaments. We're going to be working distal to proximal. If he can't feel something proximally, obviously it means that we're not going to use a smaller monofilament. We're going to use a larger monofilament. So we're going to begin. Nick, you're going to close your eyes, and I'm going to test different areas on your hands, both sides of your hand. So I'll cue you for when you should flip them over. So if you feel it, you're going to say yes, and if you don't feel it, you're going to say no. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you feel that?
No.
Can you feel that?
Yes.
Can you feel that?
Yes.
Can you feel that?
No.
Can you feel that?
No.
Can you feel that?
Yes.
Okay. Can you feel that?
No.
How about now?
No.
Okay. Can you feel that?
Yes.
Can you feel that?
Yes.
And can you feel that?
Yes.
All right, can you flip that hand over? Can you feel that?
No.
How about now?
No.
Okay. Can you feel that?
No.
Can you feel that?
No. Oh, yeah, I can feel that one, yeah.
Okay. Can you feel that?
No.
Can you feel that?
Yes.
Can you feel that?
No.
Can you feel that?
Yes.
Can you feel that?
Yes.
And what about that?
Yes.
Okay. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to test his left hand, but I am going to move down to the 3.61 monofilament and just test the areas where he said that he couldn't feel the sensation. Can you feel that?
Yes.
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 And what about that?
Yes.
Can you feel this?
Yes.
Okay, flip your hand back over for me. Can you feel that?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you, Nick.
No problem.
So to score the responses for the monofilament test, you'll record it by coloring in the area that's tested on the hand or foot screening form. You'll use the corresponding colored pencil that matches to the monofilament that's being used. The actual colors that are coordinated with the monofilaments are going to be on the top of the monofilament. So for the 2.83, it's a green one, for example. And if you have two of the same colored monofilaments being used, you'll indicate which one of them it was on the screening form. And then figure 5 on the instructions provides a detailed information of the colors, their corresponding monofilament value, and what the sensory neuropathy could be. So this is the example of the hand screening form that I filled out after Nick's assessment. At the top of the table, you'll see that I made a couple comments about his sensation kind of lacking in his fingertips, and then afterwards he told me that he's been having a little bit of numbness on the ulnar side of his right hand, which would make sense why on his hypothenar eminence he couldn't feel the 2.83 monofilament, so we ended up going up to the 3.61 value. And then moving down the form to the hands that I have colored in, you'll see that on the right dorsal side, the tops of his fingers he was having a little bit of trouble with, and then on the volar side he was having the same trouble with the 2.83, and we ended up moving down to the 3.61 and he was fine. And on that hypothenar eminence, you can see that I colored that in blue as well. The black dots on the volar side of his right and left hand are where he has some calluses. If you notice on the hands or feet of your client that they have calluses as well, you'll want to note that in your form. And then on his left upper extremity, we didn't see this in the video, but I ended up doing it on him anyways because I wanted to see if there was any difference between his right and left hand on the ulnar side, which there was a little bit. He had some trouble on the kind of the more proximal part of his palm, and a little bit on the proximal part of the dorsal side of his hand as well. But he really didn't have much trouble on the hypothenar eminence on his left side. So could be indicating that he has a maybe some sensory neuropathy going down the right ulnar side of his hand, but it's nothing too extreme, and the blue would indicate just a diminished light touch, and obviously the green indicates normal sensory functioning. So finally, for the biases of this assessment, I couldn't really find any true biases. However, some clients that we see might be wary of this assessment because the monofilament looks a lot similar to something like an acupuncture tool. So this likening might deter some clients that are from different cultures and age groups to want to participate in the assessment in itself.